welcome back to Immigration Talk Show. I'm your host, Sam, and today we are here with another very exciting webinar that is lined up just for you today. And we are live on YouTube, available on LinkedIn, Facebook, X, and on Instagram as well. And before diving into our today's topic of discussion, let me read out this very important disclaimer. By watching our videos, you understand that the information shared, including user comments, is not a professional advice. So use at your own risk. Our intention is never to offend, it's just a casual exchange of ideas. All right, friends, once again, welcome back to Daily Immigration Dose DID at 5 p.m. EDT today. As we already had our previous discussion, previous show with attorney Uma Mantrawadi. Hope you guys enjoyed that session. And again, we are here with another very important topic of discussion, and that is 300 F-1 visas got cancelled. What's happening to foreign students? So in this session, we are going to understand everything, why government are taking these steps, and also who are those students who are being targeted, and why they are being, targeted, and also why their visas got cancelled. So it's a big news. It's a very shocking news. It's not one, two, or 10 or 15 visas that got cancelled. It's 300, and that too F1 students. So it's a big news and it needs a lot of discussion. To help me out in making this discussion even more insightful, let me welcome my co host, Napasa Pradhan. So, hi, Napasa. It's so good to be here again with you and hope you're doing great.
I am Sam. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Today has been a real good, busy, productive day, I would say, here at Immigration Talk Show because we've been having so many attorneys and webinars with them today. We had none other than John Wasden from Wasden Immigration Litigation. We also had Prashanti Reddy from the Law Offices of Prashanti Reddy, and of course, Uma Mantravadi from Mantra Law. It was amazing having each one of them. And folks out there, if you somehow missed out on any one of these webinars, these episodes we had today, do check us out at Immigration Talk Show. Our handle is at Immigration Talk Show on YouTube. And you can also check us out. We are on LinkedIn, Facebook, X, Instagram. Connect with us. And absolutely, you don't want to miss out on so much good information and latest updates as well. So check us out.
Right. And the great thing is, friends, that you can also participate in this session by dialing this number that is on top of the screen 425 with the access code 988888. So, this is the speciality of Daily Immigration Dose that it is especially for our viewers, and we'll get a chance to connect with you, know more about you. What do you feel about the immigration politics and everything? Because there's a lot to discuss. And of course, with these very shocking news and shocking updates, we also need to know what do you think about these news. So I think, Napasa, let me go with the first news update. And after that, I think you can continue with that second one. Okay, so friends, here's another very important news from my end, and that is the proposed rule could require companies to pay foreign workers on H-1B visas far more than they do right now. And this is another very important news, and that is proposed H-1B wage hike sparks debate. Will it limit foreign hires and push jobs overseas? So earlier, what used to happen that companies could pay to foreign workers on H-1B visas, but now they are trying to pay more, sometimes even higher than what the current market rate is. For example, a recent graduate who was working as a software developer could see their salary jump from $60,000 to $80,000, and that's really huge. In fact, that's like 72% increase. But the question is that why is this change? Why is it changing? So the goal is to push companies to hire more local American workers by making it more expensive to bring in foreign talent. So this is a kind of a strategy that they are using so that they can focus more on the American workers rather than hiring the outsiders. But the question is that is it really going to help or could it backfire? Well, I think this is a question that I should also ask from our viewers. And friends, please let me know in the comments below what do you think? Do you think that this is going to be helpful or is it going to backfire? In fact, let me tell you what some experts have said. Some experts have warned that this wage hike could end up hurting US companies. If they can't afford to pay these higher wages, then they might just send more jobs overseas where labor costs are lower. And I think this is the right thing. Also, experts can say it's not just about, giving high wages to the American workers, but they can also get labor work at a lower cost. And it's not just the tech industry that is concerned. In fact, this could impact fields like engineering, medicine, and even education. So, anywhere specialized knowledge where it is needed and where many skilled workers come from abroad. So, Congress right now is expected to take up this issue as part of immigration reforms this year. Lawmakers are debating whether these new wage rules make sense or if they could do more harm than good. And if this isn't the first time that we have seen something like this. In fact, in 2017 also there was a push to increase the minimum salary for the H-1B workers to $80,000, but somehow it didn't pass. And right now, though the stakes are high, the initial registration period for 2026 H-1B visas had just got closed in March 24, and companies are waiting to see if their applications got selected or not. But the big question is that if these new wage rules go through, then how many of those jobs will stay in the US? It's a tough situation, friends, for both the employers and also for the foreign professionals. If the wage go up, it could make it harder for companies to hire skilled international talent, especially those fresh out of school. And also don't forget that this proposal could also impact international students who come to the US hoping to find jobs after graduation. And with higher wages required, will companies still be willing to hire them? Is another a big question that you need to ask. Well, this could be a huge turning point in how the US handle its foreign workforce. So we are definitely going to keep an eye on how Congress moves forward with these proposed changes and also let you guys update as this debate continues to unfold. And also let me know in the comment section what do you think about this? Will these changes is going to help or hurt the job market? As right now the market is really tough and I think competition is also there, so don't know whether this change is going to be helpful or not, but let's see what's going to happen, and also do let us know in the comment section what do you think. So this was the news from my end, and another very important news update will be shared by Napasa. So Napasa, please go ahead.
Thank you, Sam. And absolutely, friends, news are very important and also is important to stay updated. So I hope that you're doing your research as well because things are always changing. We are always waking up to new updates and we really have to be on track. So I hope you are. And to keep you more on track, I do have another news update. And this is about green card holders who are really rushing for US citizenship. And the question is why? Of course, something big is happening, and legal US residents who once felt safe with their green cards, they are now rushing to apply for US citizenship. And the reason is fear. Well, immigration attorneys across the country are reporting a surge in applications, and it all comes down to concerns over the Trump administration's expanding immigration crackdown. That's right, friends. Many green card holders now believe that, once considered a secure status, which we all thought for some time, they may no longer be as safe as they really thought. So, what exactly are they afraid of? If we think about it or if we question, we've really seen in the recent cases where, legal permanent residents were also detained. So some of them are even facing the possibility of deportation. So a major turning point was the arrest of Columbia University student Mahmoud Khalil and a legal resident, whose green card was being reviewed after he participated in protests. So that's one thing. For many, this was like a wake up call. If a legal resident could be detained just for exercising free speech, then what's next? And of course, meet Guillermo Montejano, one of the thousands now applying for citizenship. And Guillermo, who's a 55-year-old cabinet maker from Mexico, has been a green card holder for nearly a decade. But recently, he told reporters that I'm watching the news every day, and honestly, I'm a little scared I see how things are getting worse and I just want to be safe. That is what he says. And there's, of course, Rocio Andriana Anzo and her husband, Servando Gonzalez, and both legal US residents. They had originally planned to wait before applying the citizenship because of the cost. But after seeing legal residents are being detained, they spent $5,000 to get a lawyer and start their application process immediately. So the reality is, becoming a US citizen is not cheap. And green card renewals alone cost up to $550, while full citizenship applications can cost thousands. So, but for many out there, that cost is now seen as an investment in their safety. So, friends, this is what is really happening. And I wonder, what do you think about this? Do you also feel the same? And are you a legal US resident who is also worried? Let me know, friends. And, you know, what do you think? Is it the right move to really rush to get citizenship? You can drop your thoughts in the comments, and it'll be really nice to know what you think about this situation. And why do you think people are rushing to get their citizenship, even though they have their green card already? So, yes, do subscribe to us, and you can join us on call in case you want to tell us more about it. And I can already see David, who has joined us. Hi, David. Thank you so much for joining us. We are definitely going to read out your comments very, very soon. But yes, today's topic of discussion is another very interesting one. So, that said, that was my news update. And that's right, you can see the topic of discussion for today is none other than 300 F-1 visas cancelled. What's happening to foreign students? We're going to discuss this, and to think about it, it's our President Trump's administration, the crackdown on foreign students that he has right now. I mean, that the administration has right now. Then there are visa revocations, detentions, free speech concerns, everything included. And yes, today's discussion is also going to be one of the most important ones, I guess, in immigration crackdown. And of course, the Trump administration's revocation of student visas and detention of foreign born college students. So this issue is really sending out shockwaves through the US universities, and also concerning raising serious concerns about free speech, even political activism, and immigration rights as well. So it's like not everyone is feeling as free to just speak what they really think. And of course, um, over 300 student visas have been revoked. And students, some of whom they have lived in the US for years, they are being arrested without warning, held in detention centers miles away from their homes, and in some cases, even deported. So the question is why? And the answer really seems to be their involvement in activism, if you think about it. And we are going to discuss so much more on this topic with none other than my co-host Sam. So, Sam, what should we start with? Would you like to tell us about the current situation right now?
Sure, of course. I think that's very important. And, of course, we have a lot to discuss. But before that, also, whenever we talk about America and Apasa, we always have this in mind that if someone is going to USA, of course, they want to learn and they want to grow. And for the
Yeah.
students, I think it is the top most destination, whenever they want to study or whenever they want to grow themselves. I mean, lifestyle also, or the way they want to live, or also the way they want to educate themselves, they want to go to USA. And
Yes.
we never thought that, one day it will be that 300 F-1 student visas get cancelled. But anyway, this is the news, and let me quickly and let our viewers know like what's happening right now.
Yeah.
The Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said on Thursday the State Department is going to has revoked 300 or more student visas. That means, friends, that 300 students who were already taken and planning to come suddenly had their visas taken away from themselves. And these students were from different countries all over the world and were studying here legally. They had the cards, I mean, they had their visas that were valid, And but suddenly things got changed, and they had their visas got cancelled. In fact, the government is saying that these students were involved in protest or activities that goes against US rules. Basically, they were having a protest in a Palestinian protest was happening. And because of that, they lost their right to stay here and study, to stay in the US and study. So I think this was what Marco Rubio has, stated, and his exact word. Also, let me tell you guys that he said, "Every time I find one of these lunatics, I take away their visa." So this is a very bold statement and very aggressive statement too. So earlier we used to think that these are students, or students are quite vulnerable. Whenever we talk about students, we already have a little soft corner for them. But this time we are going to see that anyone who is looking at like a national threat, towards the US security or US national security, then doesn't matter whether it's a kid, doesn't matter whether it's an older people or a young person. I think that person has to be detained, or that person, I mean, their visa needs to be cancelled at then and there. And the worst thing is that even their detention center or their status, whatsoever they are going through, those are not even being informed. The time when they are being deported, or the time when they are being sitting in the flight, that time they are texting to their families that this things happened, and it's their deportation, and they are going back to their home country. So we can just imagine that how strictly the things are happening right now, and it's no joke. It's nothing to take, I would say, lightly. It's really hard. It's really difficult this time. And also, one of the most high profile case, also, I would like to let you guys know about, that is of Rumeysa Ozturk, who was a Turkish PhD student. And she was detained in Massachusetts and then transferred to an ICE detention center in Louisiana. So her lawyer said that she hasn't been charged with anything, yet she remains in the custody. So there are so many questions, friend, that is raising in our mind, that was she actually involved in the Palestinian protest, or was that really against the national security, or was she like doing something against the U.S. law, or is it the government or the department are randomly picking up these students and just randomly canceling their visas because they are the outsiders or they don't want. So, of course, there are lots of questions to answer. Until now, I think these statements, whatever we are getting from department, as what Marco Rubio has said, that right now I said that they are, every time he's going to find any of these lunatics, he is going to take away their visa, and that too without even having interrogation, or without even going and check on their background. So it's a very tough situation for everyone right now, and that too for students. So this is what is happening, and it's tough time. And I think yeah, this is the first part that I would like to cover. And with that, Napasa, why don't you go ahead and let me know more about the topic?
Thank you, Sam. And yes, you've done a good introduction already. And the numbers are really, really staggering if you think about it. 300 students is no joke. And,
Yeah.
student visas, they have already been revoked. So, yes, like you've already mentioned about Marco Rubio talking about it. And the main concern is how he used the term lunatic, because right now what his statement really is showing is that the administration, they view student activists not as individuals with rights, but as threats. So
Hmm.
that's a very different perspective and an important one you cannot just ignore, with Marco Rubio especially saying that, every time I find one of these lunatics, that means yes, they don't just view them as students or activists, like. So
That's right. Hmm.
yeah, and well, let's talk more about this. Of course, like it's already said, like the link between protests and visa revocations is direct, I can say, because if you talk about who is really being targeted, many of the students who have been detained or had their visas revoked were involved in pro-Palestinian protests, right? And that swept across US campuses last year. So the administration has not explicitly stated why these students were chosen over others, but we do know that some names appeared on the list, that were compiled by far right pro Israel groups. But yes, these are some of the people, I mean, students rather, who are being targeted. And yes, let's see what happens. We don't
Mhm.
but yes, the government is definitely arguing like a national security versus free speech. So we'll have to keep that in mind as well. And coming more to what the whole situation is, there is border crackdown on illegal immigrants. So it's not just student visa holders, who are affected, but some of those people who are targeted um, are also like Columbia University student, and l- these were legal permanent residents. So
Mhm.
I'm talking about Yun Seo Chung, who moved to the US as a child from South Korea but is now fighting deportation because of her activism. So then, of course, we know about one of the first cases is Mahmoud Khalil, right? And
Yeah,
the graduate, of course, the green card holder who was detained for his participation in campus protests. So, I mean, it's not just one person, like, but see how this, though she
Mhm.
moved in from Korea, I mean, she's see how it's just turning out. But this Cold War era is definitely on, and it's I don't know what is going to justify these actions, because this is just the starting, and people are really trying to see what more can happen. I think right now
that's
we
right.
have two three groups of people, some who are very actively protesting, others who are taking this protest, and there's another group who are just waiting, watching. And of course, we have the rulers out there who are
That's right.
just waiting and watching and ready to take action anytime, and that is keep them under detention or just deport them directly.
That's right. And I think, if we talk about also the targeted students or the targeted people, those who are being targeted. So I think many of these students who were involved in the protest on their college campuses, they are the one who are basically who was supporting this movement for Palestine, and which has been a really big issue lately. So some people believe that these protests were causing problems, and that's why, government has decided to act upon it. And I think, of course, it makes sense because you are studying in the US, you are here with an F-1 student visa. Your main goal is to have your life, to learn, to get educate, not to involve in these activities. And that too, even if you are getting involved, then I think there has to be some limitation to it. It shouldn't be that much extension that the government has to involve in it and the government has to decide your status. So we don't have much detail about these things, what's happening right now. But I think we can share our personal opinion. What do we think about it? And friends, it would be also great if you could also participate in this webinar by dialing up this number. That is 425 4366335 with the access code 988888. So we can have a great discussion on this topic and let us know more. What do you think about this whole scenario that's happening right now? And
I
also,
really like
this is
how you said that, Sam, because it totally reminds me, especially if you talk
Mhm.
about India and their parents, they'll be like, I just sent my kids to study, but what are they doing? Why are they talking so much, or what do they have to prove? So I can just totally imagine how, the parents must be I don't know if parents everywhere are the same, but definitely if you talk about Indian parents, then I mean, I could only imagine what the scene would be in my place. Probably my parents would disown me completely because of being over smart and trying to prove a point. But yeah, that's that. That's sorry,
yeah.
sorry.
I
So
think
I interrupted you, but yeah, go on, Sam, please.
I think that's absolutely correct. And, it's nothing that you shouldn't protest or you shouldn't raise up your voice. Of course, you are there, and America is a free country for all of those things. And, it's land of immigrants. So it's nothing to go against with those situations. But if it's something wrong happening with you, with your education or something that is affecting you directly, I think then you have to protest, or then you have to pay this much attention to. If in other country, if it's happening and it's not affecting you directly, and that too under Trump's era, so I think this time you don't have to be too much vocal about everything. You have to be pretty secure. You have to, even the extroverts, those who are, I think it's time to get introverts, I mean, to become introvert this time. And I think that's how, you have to behave this era, because this is all about what actions you are taking, what steps you are taking. So don't try, friends, to experiment something new, because it's really a tough time. It's a hard time, and even the people, those who are getting in detention center, it's not simply that they are just being detained. Before that, also, they are having some different, I would say, different phases that they are going through. I think they have been waiting for 6 to 7 hours without water, without food. So it's really a difficult time, and it doesn't feel so good. I mean, of course, so that's what is happening. And yeah, I think that's how I talked about it. And I think, Napasa, let's take some of the viewers' comments as well. What say?
Sure, Sam, we should. And I would just like to say, since you're in the US to study, so better stick to that and, try to achieve good scores, do well academically, and what you're really there for. And maybe if you're good at sports, be better at it. Keep all those things in focus, not other things much. And so goes to people out there who are there to work. I think it's always best to do best, in the field of work, or rather, if you're a student, then at your studies. I mean, only then you can prove your point, right? So,
Mhm.
otherwise, why are you really there? So, yes, I
That's
think let's not stray away from our focus, especially that, before going to America, you were, remember, remember that why you were really there for. Why did you choose to go there, right? And the main
right.
thing that will come at the top is studies, to go do well at my studies, to really score great GPA, or all these grades and points and scores. Main thing is that, right? So why stray away from that? Keep all those things in mind, not just before you enter the country, not just before you get the admission in that university or school, but
Mhm.
every day of the year in your institute as well.
That's right. And that too, Napasa, when we talk about Palestine's and Israel or Gaza or Hamas, anything, any terms like this, basically, these are very controversial issues. And
Mhm.
if you're being very much vocal about that, whether you are in favor of this and you're against of this, so this automatically shows that whom you are supporting and whom you're favoring. And that too, Hamas is about a terrorist organization, and it doesn't feel good that you are openly, I mean, sharing your views on it, and that too in USA right now. I'm not talking about that you're not democratic, you're not free, and you have no right to speak up your what do you believe right now. But it's also about the time, and that's very important. Because if it's Trump's administration, then I think you have to follow their rules. You have to be according to them. I'm not saying that you have to restrict.
Yes, I think, yeah, I totally get what you want to say, Sam, but I think let's also do take up some points. And viewers out there, I think what I could say is, these are point of views on so many other topics, but we could just say that well, it's like talking about music or talking about religion. When you talk about music, some people like classical music, some people like metal music, and there are so many people who are against metal music, and people are all trying to prove a point and trying to protest or debate about it. But then at the end of the day, it's what you like, I like, and these are just point of views which we could keep to ourselves and not stray away from the focus, why we really are in America. If we are here to study, we better stick to that, get those grades, and get better jobs after study, proper placement, and all that. I mean, let's stick to all of that. And I think that said, we should not leave our um, folks out there, viewers out there who have commented. So we should take each one of them up, and I will start with David.
Mhm.
David is saying, according to news reports, the proposed travel ban would divide affected countries into three categories. That's right. Red list, complete suspension of US visas. Orange list, partial visa suspensions and mandatory in person visa interviews. And yellow list, a 60-day probation period to fix security issues. If problems aren't addressed, these countries could move to a higher restriction level. That's right. Thank you so much, David, about to tell us about these travel bans and these different three colored zones which are there right now, which we can see. So yes, thank you for highlighting that. And friends, you can go check out these red zones, orange list, the yellow list, who's falling under which country is falling under which. And probably most of our viewers are Indian, so India is not there in any of these lists, if you're wondering. And yes, let's take up Imran's comments. Sam.
Sure. So Imran is here, and he's saying recent reports have raised concerns about how some international visitors are being treated when they arrive in the United States. Several travelers have said they were questioned for hours, pressured to unlock their phones, or even denied entry despite holding valid visas. While these incidents are not the norm, they highlight a growing need for travelers to understand what their rights are and what border officers can and cannot do when you land at a US airport. That's right, Imran. And of course, it's pretty sad and it's pretty disheartening because, of course, we know that this time the security is too high and it's very serious. Even the phones are not at all private. They can check your photos, they can check your WhatsApp chats. So there's nothing to hide from there. I think only the official Gmail email IDs would be hidden. After, like, other than email IDs, there's nothing that they are not going to check on. So that's what is happening. And I think he also said that while these incidents are not the norm, okay, we don't know much about it, but I'm sure we would love to know about it. And they highlight a growing need for travelers to understand. That's right. And even it's not only about the travelers, who are traveling, but also those who had a green card in the US. And they are the one also who are facing a lot of issues when they are re-entering the USA. Even the Indian senior citizens, they are pulling aside and their green cards are being revoked. So it's so sad. And right now, we don't get the exact answer why these steps are being taken from the administration sides. Because, once they get the green card, it's automatically said that, of course, they are benefiting the US economy. And, Napasa, most of the green card holders belong to the earlier H-1B visa holders because they are the one who tries to transform themselves. And even the F-1 students, the F-1 students also apply for the H-1B visa. So I think these are the things that are interconnected and interlinked with each other. If you are trying to stop the F1 students, then automatically you are trying to, limit the green card holders as well, the future green card holders, we can say like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's a lot to discuss. And that's all from my end. And thank you so much, Imran, for being here and putting up this very important point. So why don't you join us and participate in this session? And we would love to have you here in this webinar.
Yes. You know, what you were saying also took me back to, when Trump elected as our borders are, right? None other than Tom Homan, of course. And you know, it was also said that the administration prioritizes deporting criminals, right? But if that's the case, why are students with no criminal records also being detained instead
Yeah.
of, focusing on the 400,000 non-citizens in the US with actual criminal convictions?
Hmm.
But like you really smartly put out there, I think it's like reducing future green card holders. So I think that could be one of the major reasons as well. But yes, this shift in priorities really suggests that the goal is not just law enforcement, but also sending a political message. So, yeah, if you are anyone out there who's speaking out against us, you're really not welcome here. I think that's a clear message.
Of course, that can be. And we have been seeing a lot of different cases also that,
Yeah.
when they have been interrogated, I mean, there was this man, and he had been interrogated, and though he didn't have any criminal background, but still, he was like violently, I think, interrogated, and he was also stripped, and he wasn't getting enough food, and enough water wasn't also being put up in, I mean, to his table. So these are the treatments that they are facing right now. I think these are treatments are also happening to set an example that if someone is not a proper, a US born citizen or American worker or American, born citizen. They have to go with these scrutinies, or they have to go with these treatments. So this is something very sad and very, I would say, a difficult situation for the immigrants, specifically for the immigrants. Doesn't matter, friends, this time whether you're a green card holder or you have the H-1B visa or the F-1 student visa. I think it's a very difficult time, and apparently, I think you have to work and you have to just focus on your thing, your status. It's better not to shift your focus from here to there, and just stay wherever you are and don't try to travel, because it's really difficult for you to re-enter the USA, as your green cards may revoked, and the news is also there. So lots of things are happening. So I think that's the advice and that's the suggestion that we can put up right now.
Absolutely. And, the results are coming out also. I mean, I'm talking about the H1B lottery. From today, they're starting to roll out. And I think by the end of this month, 31st of March, or at least by 1st of April, we should all know who got selected in the lottery. And of course, there are more to who can travel, who should not travel. And of course, the what even is mentioned by David, the different countries in different lists, that also matters. But apart from all of that, yes, the results are coming out, and we are also going to have a discussion on who can travel, who cannot travel, or who should not travel, rather, right now. We will discuss this on Wednesday with none other than Attorney Prashanti Reddy. So do tune in, friends. We are going to have the webinar at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So, I mean, put an alarm, put a reminder, and do tune in, because there's a lot more to discuss, and none other. I mean, it's best to get to learn from experts, right? And Attorney Prashanti
Mhm.
Reddy is definitely going to join us. So check us out, stay tuned, and so much more to read. And I see AJ also, another comment he has made. Thank you, AJ, for commenting. I know, uh, well, he's asking us, Sam, is this show adequate to educate people who know very little about immigration? And are there sources where people can learn about immigration from start to recent changes in laws? Absolutely. This is Daily Immigration Dose, but you should check out Immigration Talk Show, where we keep having a lot of webinars with different attorneys, and we make it a point, to discuss everything, from updates to laws, especially immigration related. So check us out. I would say, yes, this is very much a channel where you can learn a lot. Thank you, AJ, for bringing up this question, I would say. So, yes, check out at Immigration Talk Show. That's our handle. And you can check us out in YouTube. You can also check us out on LinkedIn, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Follow us. And of course, as you can see, the disclaimer, once again, let me remind you that by watching our videos, you agree and understand that the information shared, including user comments, is not professional advice, but you can use it at your own risk, and our intention is never to offend. It's just a casual exchange of ideas. That said, friends, also, thank you so much for joining us here on this show today, Daily Immigration Dose. I know it's a very sensitive topic, but we've all shared our views and the news as well, the updates, whatever we could share. And we have, thank you so much, AJ, once again for asking us. So, yes, friends, do check us out. And now we have Cynthia's comment. So, Sam, why don't you go ahead and take it?
I would love to. And Cynthia has made a great comment here. Cynthia is saying that we gave you a visa to come and study and get a degree, not to be a social activist that comes in and tears up our university campuses, as what Rubio has said. I think, thank you, Cynthia. I think whenever you join our session, you always put up these very important points, and
Yeah.
these discussions needs to be there. So why don't you join us by dialing this number and putting up the access code? We are really waiting for you, to hear your voice. How do you sound, and what more we can have in discussion on call. But I think that's a great point, Cynthia. And of course, Napas, I totally agree with this as what Marco Rubio has said that, of course, university is to study, to educate, and to make their life a better one, not to be a social activist. And
Right.
that too, when you are an immigrant, and that too, when you are living in a different country. So I think they
Yes.
should follow these norms, and there should be some limitation. You shouldn't feel that, carelessly you are protesting and doing something that is not your duty. So yeah, I think that's all. And thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, Imran, and David also for putting up these very important comments and also joining our session. I can see a lot of viewers have joined us. So friends, please go ahead and dial this number and also put the access code. We would love to have your point of view on what do you think about this topic, even if not it's the topic, but anything that you would like to have a discussion on. We will definitely be happy to have you all here.
Yes, absolutely. And, whenever we have these frequent viewers, especially Cynthia, AJ, I think Imran is also very frequent. So,
Yeah.
really makes me wish you guys can join us on call, actually, so that we really get to know you, just to know where you're joining us from. And yeah, in fact, you can even tell us if you cannot join us on call, where are you joining us from and which part of America are you in. So, yes.
Mhm.
I think
That's right. Huh.
I think we have quite a bit discussed about this. And friends out there, you are also free to share what you really think about this and what the situation is right now. 300
Mhm.
F-1 visas cancelled. It's no joke. And what do you think is really happening to foreign students? Do you think this is fair? What happened? I mean, just canceling the visas. I'm sure there are others also who are suffering. So let us know what you
Mhm.
think, and it'll be nice to know your point of view as well. So keep commenting, even if you're
Mhm.
watching us after the stream has ended. And that said, friends,
That's
don't forget to check us out. We are at Immigration Talk Show. That's our handle on YouTube. And connect with us. We are also there on LinkedIn, Facebook, X, and Instagram. So check us out. And also, friends, you can message me if you have any questions where we can direct these questions to the attorneys. So you can write to me in my WhatsApp number or call me in my number, and my number is 408-335-6444. And also, you can email me. My email address is nipa@staffingly.com. And you can also email Sam, and her email address is sam@staffingly.com. So, yes, I think with that said, thank you so much for joining us here today on Daily Immigration Dose. It was really lovely having each one of you, and of course, having this discussion with Sam. Very important points we highlighted. I would say both of us had different things to talk about, and I'm sure even friends out there who joined us had a lot to speak. So thank you, each one of you. And yeah, just watch out our space at Immigration Talk Show, because there are more news updates coming up, and just stay updated.
That's right. Thank you so much, everyone. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. It's me, Sam, with my co host, Napasa. We come daily on Daily Immigration Dose and to have these great discussions and also participate in this. And till then, thank you so much, everyone. Happy weekend, happy Eid, and happy Ugadi as well. So
Yes,
enjoy these 2 days. It's a great day, and forget about what's going on and what are the challenges. Just have a
enjoy
great
this.
time with your loved ones, with your families, and also don't forget to like and share and subscribe to our channel, as this is another very important thing to do. With that, thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and good day and good luck.